Now, them to introduce themselves. We have from Lanao del Sur First District Representative Sia Alonto Adyong. La Union First District Representative Francisco Paulo P. Ortega. Visa 5 Zambales First District Representative Jefferson Aconghun. Isabela 6th District Representative Faustino Ino D. And our resident guest, Deputy Speaker J.J. Suarez.
Can I just object to that point? Resident na tapos guest pa.
Okay, before we give the floor to for media questions, sir, your opening remarks.
Good morning, of course, to everyone tuning in and listening to Congress TV and, of course, our House Live. We are, as you see, we are the young guns of Congress. Nakikita nyo naman po kami around, pero parang this is the first time that we're here in a press briefing. Yung nga po, young guns of Congress, pero we have been serving our local governments. I think mahaba-haba na rin po. I've been serving my local government for about 16 years na po ako today. So, I'm Paulo Ortega, First District Representative of La Union. And of course, I would like my colleagues to introduce themselves para mas makilala niyo rin po sila before we start with the questions. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Jay Conghun. I am the representative in the First District of Zambales. I've been in government for almost 22 years now. No? Nag-start ako bilang board member, mayor, then vice governor, and now congressman of the First District of Zambales. No? And syempre, we are here, no? To support and defend the integrity of the House, no? So, maraming salamat sa chance na ibinibigay sa amin ngayon na marinig at malaman ko ano yung opinion namin sa mga bagay-bagay. Thank you.
Zia Alonto Adyong, representing the First District of Lanao del Sur. Just like what my colleagues said earlier, I've also been in government service, in public service for quite some time. I started as a member of the Assembly, Regional Legislative Assembly in the ARM. And subsequently, when the ARM was abolished through a plebiscite, I was appointed as member of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority Parliament, serving as a Deputy Speaker. And this is my first term. And I'm really glad and honored to be sitting alongside with this fine gentleman from Luzon. And I look forward to a fruitful engagement with the media. We would be more than willing and glad to answer all your questions. Thank you very much at magandang umaga po.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you all here today. And good morning again. I'm Rep. Ino D from the 6th District of Isabela. Dati po akong barangay chairman of San Fabian, former National Liga president din po, and ako my second term as the 6th District Rep of Isabela. And again, just like my colleagues, happy to be here with you all today. I hope we have a fruitful discussion. Thank you.
Hi, I'm David Suarez. My GCash number is... I think it's a great opportunity that we have the young voices of the House of Representatives. Oftentimes we hear the more veterans of the House, but what we need to also accept is that a large number of the composition of the House of Representatives now are first-time legislators, and a lot of them are very young, full of dynamism, full of enthusiasm, full of innovation, and integrity is very much intact. And it's very important for us as a nation to hear their advocacies and to listen to their opinions when it comes to issues that concern the nation. So it's indeed a pleasure to have them in the press briefing, and I'm sure the next few days to come, a lot more voices coming from the different sectors of the House of Representatives will be heard. So maraming salamat.
Thank you. Thank you, honorable members, House members. May I call Isa Bendaño Malab, GMA DCWB for the first question.
Okay, good morning po, Congressman. Last week po, kinontra na ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. yung isinusulong na secession or yung pagkalas ng Mindanao sa Pilipinas. Pero may sagot po si former President Duterte, and he said, secession is a legal process, doesn't mean going to war. Kung kayo po yung tatanungin, ano po yung position nyo dito, and do you think po appropriate for the government to pursue charges po versus former President Duterte and former House Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez na nagsusulong din po nitong secession? Thank you po.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Well, yes, we'll start with the issue of secession because it really, the question of calling for independence really started in our community, in the arm. Way back in the 1960s, 70s, and up to the 80s, in early part of the 90s, and this resulted to series of peace negotiations between first initially the Moro National Liberation Front, and following that, after the 1996 peace agreement, which was signed between the government of the Philippines and the MNLF, the MILF also had its own separate peace negotiation with the government of the Philippines. It started in 1997 during President Ramos's time, when he declared a general secession of hostilities in order to give way for the negotiations with the MILF. Now, we have already the BARM, and we had the ARMM, and we have the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. I'm saying this because insofar as the call for secession is concerned, I think the Muslim community, minority Muslims in Mindanao, have the moral ascendancy to call for secession in the first place. And this is due to, I think this has already been accepted by the government, even in the previous administration, when former PRRD said that it's time to correct the injustices committed against the Moro people. So we have that ascendancy, the moral ascendancy, to speak about and call for independence. But if you ask us, that issue is already settled. And there is no clamor for us to pursue independence. In fact, we altogether abandon the call for independence, and we have settled for genuine autonomy because there's no way to move forward than to embrace national polity, join the mainstream Filipino society in order to progress not only the Philippines but to ultimately ourselves. For the past several years, when the call for secession is very, very hot, and the revolutionary movements were very active on the ground, there were no progress that we have seen in our areas. And this is precisely the reason why we have decided, and our elders have decided, that it's not fair to inherit the problem, pass on the problem to the next generation. I am the second generation of Muslim minority in the country who have seen the brunt of war. I've seen it. I know the smell of the decomposing body. So I know the sound of a gun. So kami po yung unang magsasabing tapos na po yan because we want to move forward. Now yes, it may be true that this is a democratic country. Anybody can say their piece. If you are dissatisfied or frustrated with your government, you can say whatever you want. But secession has a legal terminology. It is not loosely used by any ordinary people. When you call for a secession, and the national government is very clear, I don't think the national government, especially the security sector, would just hand independence to us on a silver platter. There will be resistance from the national government. And our law enforcement agencies, the security sector, particularly our armed forces, have sworn to protect the integrity and the sovereignty of our country, including our territory. So whoever threatens that, the territory and the sovereignty of our country, our military or armed forces have the mandate and in fact the obligation and the responsibility to protect that. That's why President Marcos came out saying he will never surrender even an inch of our territory in the country. So I guess our leaders in Mindanao should be more circumspect because they have that chance to really improve the lives of the people. And we've seen the fruit of the peace process, and they allow that to really have its own way of really bringing a progress in Mindanao. When you talk about Mindanao, Mindanao is composed of 33 provinces and many cities. If you discuss to me improvement or those who have not been receiving equal share from the national government, it's mostly the Muslim communities. If you go to Davao City, it's even more progressive than many cities here in Manila, I guess, or in Visayas. If you go to Cagayan de, and many, these are progressive cities, and they don't have the, I guess wala ho silang rason para sabihin nila magsisid sila. So it's mostly about the Muslim communities, minority Muslim communities. Why is that? Because we've been subjected to series of armed conflict, and we do not want to happen that again. And I guess on the part of our military, if there's going to be a push for secession, then through a, let's say, a peaceful manner, nobody would even join the group. If you talk about taking up arms, that's another question. Because that would entail, I guess, a heinous crime that would, that would be, you'll be facing heinous crimes because under the revised penal code, there will be a lot of consequences if you did push more aggressive in your call. So I guess my calling to our leaders, be more circumspect. If we should not use independence or the issue on secession of Mindanao as a political slogan. We should not use that loosely in order to express our dismay politically. This issue of secession have killed more than 1,000 great men. So let's put it to rest. We want to join the Philippines. We embrace unity. And let's support this administration call for unity. Wag mo natin gamitin ito na political slogan or tirahin because we are frustrated personally and politically sa nakaupong mga leader. Wag po. Kasi it adds insult to the memories of those who are fallen. And those our troops who have sacrificed their lives in order to protect the Philippines. At the least that we can do is to honor the memories and keep this country intact.
Well said.
Thank you, sir. Do our guests have any other further remarks?
Follow up na lang.
Sige.
Sorry po, follow up na lang po. Sa palagay niyo po ba, dahil si former Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez yung nagpupush nito at mukhang desidido siya along with former President Duterte, sa palagay niyo po ba na dapat siyang isubject to an ethics complaint?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, sir.
Well, that we haven't discussed that yet, and that would depend on the, of course, the leadership, but it also would depend on the gravity of the offense. Basically, we have rules here. Of course, we are congressmen and we have sworn loyalty to the country. We have, yun ang oath po namin. But that would depend on how the House of Representatives will see that. But I would advise, I do not want to presume, more knowledgeable. Kasi mamalayo po, in terms of experience, he has been here for, he's been serving the House of Representatives. He was a former speaker, he should know better than us. So I guess it's not really but maybe an appeal as a first termer. Because we also follow the footsteps of our veteran legislators. They inspire us. And unfortunately, that kind of call does not do any good to anyone, especially us, the neophytes of the House of Representatives. I don't know, that would depend on how things will move forward. Thank you.
Excuse me, Kong, no? Sa opinion ko, no? This is an issue of respect, no? Yung respeto. Hindi naman po pwede na may ayaw ka, tapos ang gusto mo, paghiwalay na yung bansa, no? With all due respect, no? Nung panahon ni Presidente Duterte, meron din naman mga opinion na hindi naman sang-ayon ng mga tao, pero hindi naman dumating sa punto na tumatawag tayo ng paghihiwalay, no, ng mga iba't ibang parte ng ating bansa. So sana respetuhin din natin ang administration ni Pangulong Marcos, no, at magkaisa na lang tayo at para hindi na tayo nagkakagulo-gulo. At lalong-lalo na ang Mindanao ngayon is paunlad na, no? Umuunlad ng Mindanao. At talagang tinututukan ng ating presidente yung mga problema sa Mindanao, no? So talagang nakikita natin yung pagbabago ngayon sa Mindanao ngayong panahon na ito. So sana itigil nila yung panawagan, no, tungkol sa paghihiwalay, no, ng Mindanao. Thank you.
Are there any additional remarks our guests would like to make or share?
I do.
Go ahead, sir.
I'd just like to state, iisa tayong tao, iisa tayong bansa, iisa tayong Pilipinas. Just a thought of Mindanao seceding is worrisome and deeply saddening. No? At this point in time, ngayon 2024 na po, napaka-progressive na ng ating bansa. Kinikilala po tayo sa buong mundo, sa ginagawa po natin ngayon, development po natin, at ang liderato rin po ng ating mahal na Pangulo na nakakapagtulong sa bawat sulok po ng ating bansa ngayon. And just a call for seceding Mindanao or secession is really deeply saddening. So I hope na-feel po sa ating mga leaders na tigilan na po natin ito. Sa isang alang-alang na po natin for the sake of our country, for the sake of unity po. Maraming salamat.
Paulo.
Mahaba na nga yung mga sagot nila. Pero the point is, parang reactionary lang yung about the case of Mindanao eh. Kasi if they were studying it and they were planning this for the longest time, matagal na po na nandyan yung mga political actors na nag-push for this one. Eh bakit hindi po nasama sa pag-aaral dati at hindi naman po natutukan. So, yun nga, the call of the President during the campaign was for us to be united. So, he's standing by that. Gusto niya, united ang Pilipinas, united ang Filipino. Kasi, pag hindi tayo magkaisa, walang peace and order, then paano usbong tong ekonomiya natin? So, ang dami pa nating mabibigat na problema, which is talaga dito kami sa Kongreso. Kaya nga po naipasa na po namin yung mga LEDAC priority measures, nakapasa na po lahat. Kasi we see the urgency of the power of legislation na gawin mas maayos ang buhay ng mga kapwa natin. So, yun lang. Thank you.
Thank you, sirs. Next question. Yes, si Billy. Kasi naman si paring si Ed Galvez of FEBC. I-recognize pa.
Good morning, sirs. As the young guns, as mentioned by Congressman Ortega, any message, any Valentine message for the Senate, particularly the former Sipak Party List Representative Senate Majority Leader Joel Villanueva.
To Senator Villanueva, to our, of course, our colleagues and friends from the Senate, let's aim for peaceful negotiations and dialogue. Kung Maliit man po pagtingin po sa amin ni Senator Villanueva na hindi po tayo equal. Sana lamang po tutukan na lang po natin ang ating trabaho bilang legislators. Dahil kami nga po nabanggit po ng ating kasama na si Kong Paulo Ortega na 54 to 57 priority-led measures are done in the House. So let's focus on the work at hand. Especially ang ating pong RBH 6. We appeal also to the Senate. You know, na nasa inyo na po ang bola. We've already agreed that the House will adopt and approve the Senate's version of the RBH 6. So, yun lamang po.
I'd like to add to what Congressman Tino said. I know the premise where you're trying to you're trying to premise your question because Valentine's Day is almost here. No? I think we're celebrating every February. We're celebrating love. No, we're celebrating love. But love goes two ways. It should not be one way. It should be reciprocated. Love is partnership. Love is humility. Love is about sharing your life with another. You put that context in the way the legislature is framed under the Constitution. We have two chambers in the House, House of Representatives and the Senate. The balance of that is parliamentary courtesy. Now you may define that as love. Hopefully, yes, that's part of the part of love is respect and humility. So I guess in order for the love to thrive, put that in the context of the legislature. Since we are celebrating Valentine's Day this February, I hope he would be more, more humble enough to realize that your words can cut deeper than swords. And so I would like to, my message to him is have a very nice Valentine's Day with your partner. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Lahat kami. So, ayun nga, said by our friends here, tinitingnan ko kasi maigi, parang yung ang dami nating back and forth, na-touch ni Kong Zia yung sa parliamentary courtesy. Siyempre po, ang parliamentary courtesy, hindi naman po pwede na nasa loob ka ng House, nasa loob ka ng Senado, ganito yung sasabihin mo. Pero pag nasa labas ka, may ibang media outlet na interview, personal attacks naman yung ilalabas natin. Parang siguro the term parliamentary courtesy should extend beyond the offices. Kasi kaya nga tayo honorable dito honorable members. We have the mandate of the people. So mas maganda po na talagang tayo yung ehemplo ng pinakamataas na pagpapakita ng respeto, tulungan, pagkakaisa, di ba? So kaya sabi ko tuloy, para siguro magjowa na nag-LQ yung yun nangyayari ngayon. Usually ang problema pag nag-LQ, di ba, parang may gap, may communication gap nila. Pero I doubt if may gap yung legislative process kasi wala naman naging problema before sa legislative process. Siguro emotions are very high and yun nga lang, we must uphold parliamentary courtesy at the highest form na kaya natin gawin, maximum tolerance. Yun nga, dapat talaga kasi nag-uusap So, paano pag hindi nag-usap yung mag-jowa, di wala na. Break na. Hindi naman maganda yun. Kami ni Kong Jay, pinaglalaban namin yung mga ganyan. So, ang message ko lang sa kanila, of course, we love them very much and parang hindi kayo naniniwala. Mahal na mahal namin sila kasi kinampanya namin sila, binoto namin sila, sinuportahan namin sila. And sabi nga ni Kong Zia, dapat they should reciprocate the love that we are going to be and still going to be showing and giving to our partners in the Senate. Thank you.
Yes, no?
Paano sir kung lumapit ulit ang mga senators sa local, sa inyo?
Yung
Sa election, lalapit ulit sila.
Okay lang. Lapit sila sa amin. Pero ang punto naman namin dito ay mag-usap. yung mga issues na inaayos natin sa House, kailangan maayos muna kasi malapit na po, ilang buwan na lang eh. So, ang target naman natin dito, ang tagline natin dito, magkaisa. So, we will push for that, we will go hard for that. Pero, kailangan siguro, tama na yung pag nasa labas na ng mga opisina may mga kanya-kanyang patutsada pa. Wala na mangyayari dito, back and forth na lang talaga.
Tsaka hindi naman po pwede na yung kanang kamay mo tumatawag ng pagkakaisa tapos yung kaliwang kamay mo sumusuntok, no? Kami naman sa House, syempre, pinagtatanggol lang naman namin yung integrity ng House, no? At saka, pag hindi naman kami sasagot, masyadong bugbog sarado naman ang Kongreso. Napapasama na, no? Sa totoo lang, yung House of Representatives, siya yung bugbog na bugbog ngayon, no? So, sana tigilan na, no? At saka yung sinseridad sa pagtawag ng unity, no? Pag sinasabi nila na magkasundo na, sana magkasundo na lang. Hindi po pwede yung ginagawang punching bag ang Kongreso.
Yeah, let me just add. Senator Joel Villanueva's statements. Well, I think he heard a lot of congressmen, definitely 100%. Especially the privileged speech that was delivered yesterday. Hindi tama yung ginawa niyang pagmamaliit sa mga miyembro ng mababang kapulungan. Hindi tama nung sinabi niyang district representatives lang kayo, party list lang kayo, at kami nationally elected kami. Hindi po tama yun. Especially we're a bicameral system of the legislative branch wherein we're both co-equal. I guess my young guns are a little bit kinder than myself. Ako, ang motto ko na lang pagdating sa mga senators, we will never forget.
Meron lang po ako idadagdag doon kay DS. Kasi may sinasabi po nila, I think they're projecting na binubuli sila ng House. No? So, pagkakalam ko, Boss DJ, kasi sila po yung sinasabi na may mandato sila malaki, 15 million baka yung mga boto nila. Meaning to say, they're popular than us. So bakit namin sila mamubuli? All the media, with all due respect, whenever they hold press conference or magsabi sila ng dagsaan sila because they're national leaders. They've been looking, the people are looking, when we actually look at them like a source of inspiration. Tapos sinasabi nila, wala ko sa amin ang namubuli kasi hindi ko mabuli ang isang tao na mas, according to their logic, mas superior kaysa sa'yo. So I think it's not fair to say na ganun-ganun lang. Ang dali lang na sila sabihin sa amin. Sabi nga ni Boss JJ, DS, na maliit yung tingin kasi mga district representatives, no? So paano mabubuli ang isang bagay? Halimbawa, bubuli ang mas according to their own interpretation. No, a weaker one cannot bully the bigger one. As simple as that. So, tama po yung sinabi ng aking mga colleagues dito. It's start to lay down and go back actually to the very essence of why we have two chambers in the legislature. No? Para po may respeto at may galang sa bawat isa. At maging careful po tayo sa mga ating sinasabi. Dahil pag ikaw po ang nagsabi ng isang bagay na nakakasira sa integridad ng isang institusyon, lalong-lalo na sa personalidad ng isang tao, mahirap na po bawiin yan. So, kaya nga po sabi nga ni Boss Paolo, kami, willing naman kami, we're open arms eh. Should they want to, by 2028, may election daw eh. Open arms naman po. So, gano'n lang po, idadagdag ko sa sinabi po ni Boss, yes, DJ.
Saka dagdag ko lang po, nakikita nyo naman, mukha ba kaming bully?
Ikaw lang.
Wala, hindi naman. Wala naman pong mukhang bully dito, di ba? Gawa po ng mga young guns na hindi. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Let us recognize Mr. Billy Viegas from Abante Politico for his question.
Sir,
Mike.
magandang hapon po. Sir, ask ko lang po your thoughts dun sa banat ni former President Duterte tsaka yung anak niya kay President Marcos, while yung si VP Sara naman remains in the cabinet. And number 2 po, meron pa bang unity sa unity?
The principle of the unity team goes beyond the relationship of the president and the vice president, no. Tulad kami sa House, buo kami, we are united, no, on the call of the president, under the leadership of Speaker Martin Romualdez, no. Sana isa lang ang hinihingi namin, na sana kausapin din sana ni VP Sara, no, yung kanyang pamilya, no, para suportahan ang ating Pangulo, dahil wala namang ibang gusto ang ating Pangulo kundi ang kaunlaran at katahimikan ng ating bansa. So, if you're asking is kung buo ba ang unity team, yes, we are united under the leadership of President.
Ako yung reaction ko lang, Sir Billy, no? Billy. Hindi ko masyado parang binibigyan ng weight yung mga birada, yung mga banat. Kasi nakikita ko naman dito sa kami, perfect examples kami, nasa distrito kami, nasa ground. Gumagana po eh. Napaka ayos po ng patakbo ng gobyerno, gumagana. So, ibig sabihin, nagbubugso lahat yun sa gitna namin, yung unity. So, yung mga pinangako ng eleksyon, yung mga, kumbaga, yung tagline before the elections, the hashtags and the promises, nararamdaman namin sa distrito. And I'm sure may, yung nasasakupan ko, yung distrito namin, nararamdaman po nila yung gobyerno sa mga panahon ngayon because of what we are doing in legislation and what we are doing on the ground. So, yun lang po.
Well, yung unity po hindi lang po yan natapos ang kampanya. Yung sinasabi pong unity, no? Ang gustong, yung political slogan ng President, ni BBM at ni VP Sara. It was in fact converted into a concrete and actual plan. Dahil nga nagkaroon tayo ng launching ng bagong Pilipinas, remember, no? And VP Sara was there. And makikita po natin yung relationship. VP Sara is still in the cabinet. Nanda sa administration po ni President Duterte, and she's very, very supportive of the plans of the current administration. And as far as the House is concerned, explain po ni Boss J at saka ni Boss Paulo, the House is composed of 311 tayo, Boss J? Yes, no? 311 members. And we all come from different political parties, and the House of Representatives is a perfect venue to exemplify unity. Kasi pakita niyo po, talagang solid po kami dito, no? Sa House of Representatives. Talagang doon po natin mararamdaman. And in fact, we also go beyond the walls of the House of Representatives. We in fact reach out to other branches of government. In fact, we have delivered yung mga priority legislations ng administration na to. Yung mga nasa LEDA na priority legislations, we only have to, I guess, if I'm not mistaken, Boss JJ, we only have to adopt Proof 3, no, of the 17 remaining LEDA. So, kung titingnan po natin sa perspective ng actual governance, meron po. I don't think there's a crack in it. Kasi solid po ang ating gobyerno, solid po ang legislature sa President at the Vice President. She's very, she came out with a statement that she does not agree with with the utterances or the pronouncement of her family. She in fact still supports the President. So that's an indication that the political campaign during that time was actually still intact insofar as putting the words into concrete actions.
Gusto ko lang po dagdagan ng konti yung sinabi po ng aking mga kasamahan. No? Kagaya po ng sabi nila, nandito po tayo sa Kongreso, sa House, mula kami sa iba't ibang parte ng ating bansa, iba't ibang partido, pero iisa po ang ating layunin. Napaunlarin ang ating bansa, paglingkuran ng ating mga kababayan, at yun po yung unity brand na isinusulong po ng ating mahal na Pangulo at Vice President Sara nung sila po ay tumatakbo. At kami po lahat hanggang ngayon, at kung tatanungin nyo rin po ang mga leaders po natin sa iba't ibang parte ng Pilipinas, ay panigurado sila pa rin po ay naniniwala dito sa konsepto ng unity. Dahil lahat naman po nga tayo, ay nga pong layunin natin ay ang pagbabago at kaunlaran ng ating bansa. At nandito na po tayo sa panibagong yugto ng pagbabago. Makikita naman po natin, kagaya ng sabi ni Kong Paolo, pumunta po kayo sa iba't ibang sulok ng ating bansa ay napakaraming proyektong nangyayari, napakaraming programang ibababa sa ating mga kababayan, napakarami po natin natutulungan. And you can see it, the utilization rate ng ating mga ahensya ng gobyerno. So ako po pa rin, syempre, the unity team is still strong and alive in our country today.
Thank you, sir. May we call on Rad Mendoza of Manila Times.
Hi po. Good morning po. My single question lang po is yung reaction. Pong Adjong, I'd like to ask your reaction po sa sinabi ni former presidential spokesman Sal Panelo sa The Manila Times na yung reaction daw po ng mga tao sa opposition ng Mindanao Succession has become gone ballistic from overreaction to utterly absurd. And I quote him na an idea of Mindanao succession cannot be absolutely said to be doomed to fail. Any advocacy or concept must pass the crucible of a debate prior to the determination of its success and failure. And lastly, sinabi niya na the succession is anchored on the principle that the people have the right to self-govern, the right to self-determination. They have the right to choose the kind of government they want, to choose the officials who will govern them, and to determine their future. Kung ano po masabi niyo po dito sa sinabi ni former Attorney Sal Panelo?
Well, obviously, former Secretary Panelo is not from Mindanao. Because sabi ko nga, pag sinabi mong secession and independence, these are not mere words to us. Na-experience namin, ang daming namatay. Ang daming gera. Of course, when you hear these issues again popping up out of nowhere, of course, it will remind you of your past experiences before. And it doesn't set well in our memory. Obviously, he's not from Mindanao, so he does not know why we reacted this way. And yes, alam mo, sabi ko nga, we are a democratic society. There's plenty of spaces where you can, say your piece. But when you discuss about secession, it has a very deep meaning to it. Kasi you're talking about not only disenfranchising a certain areas from the Philippines, you're actually threatening our territory. You are threatening not only the geographical composition of the Philippines, but you are in fact threatening the existing institutions, which, by the way, institutions are very, very working now. So I'm sorry if that's not his cup of tea. Pero kami ng mga taong Mindanao, at kami ang nakarinig ng putukan, at kami ang nakita kung sino namatay. Ako namatay na ako ng mga kamag-anak. Of course, when you talk about approach me, talk about these things, hindi lang go ballistic, baka ano. So, ang ano ko lang sa kanya, kay Secretary Panelo, pumunta lang kaya siya ng Mindanao at doon siya tumira sa area namin at sabihin niya may mga, kung may mga, lalo na sa mga community, mga conflict-stricken communities. At sabihin kaya niya na mag-independent siya. At anong makukuha niyang reaction?
Thank you, sir. For the last two questions, maybe from Mela of PTV4 and Sheila from the Philippine Star. And another one from Bicana. Okay, last question ka, Bic. Mela.
Okay, just a follow-up question. I'm Melalas Mars from PTV4. Just a follow-up question about charter change. Actually, for DS Suarez po sana, but other congressmen can also answer. Kahapon po kasi sa ating press conference, nanawagan na rin yung House leaders na imbes na word war, manaig na nga at magkaroon na ng healthy and democratic discussion. Sabi nyo nga po, let love rule. Pero ang nangyayari po kasi, sa ngayon nga, tuloy pa rin, even sa Senate plenary, meron pa rin message about sa House at kumbaga ay tuluyan pa rin yung mabibigat na salita. Para sa inyo, kailan po kaya natin ito nakikita mahihinto at given na isang buwan na lang ay mag-break na, Holy Week break na ang Kongreso, sa tingin nyo, kayang-kaya pa rin naman po itong maipasa itong RBH 6 naman sa dalawang kapulungan ng Kongreso?
Well, I can't speak on behalf of the Senate when it comes to how quickly they can do their work. But I can speak on behalf of the House because this is what I am a member of. When it comes to productivity, in absolute terms, the House has delivered in all SONA legislative measures, in all LEDA requirements, and in every legislative action that has been asked of us by the executive. So when it comes to efficiency and productivity, undoubtedly, unquestionable ang House dyan. Ngayon, sa bahagi ng Senado, it's mixed signals eh. SP Mig said matatapos nila before Holy Week. Now, sinasabi ni Senator Angara, baka October. Tapos may ibang senators na nagsasabi na huwag daw mamadaliin. So, we really can't hold on to a definitive timeline when it comes to how soon the Senate can act on RBH 6. That's why I'm asking the media to please ask them what is their timeline. If you were with us yesterday at narinig nyo yung paliwanag ni Congressman Joey Salceda at saka ni Congresswoman Stella Kimbo, the number speaks for itself. You know, the Philippines is now 8th from the last of 10 countries. So, how long do we have to wait before we actually realize there's so much work that needs to be done para maipasa natin itong RBH 6? At saka, the passage of the RBH 6 is just one step. After we do the RBH 6, we're gonna have to move with having a plebiscite. Then after we have a plebiscite, we're going to have to operationalize the Constitution by enacting laws. And I'm telling you, aabutin na tayo ng midterm elections. Pagkatapos nun, may bagong set of congressmen, may bagong set ng senators na darating. Baka ma-operationalize natin to, masyadong dulo na sa term ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. That's why ang panawagan ko sa Senado, and we have been very consistent since January when we've been having this press conference, do your work and do your work fast. Because time is not on our side. And neither are the other countries in the world and the businesses and the investors. They are not gonna wait for the Philippines. We need to make sure that the gates are open for them to come in.
Thank you. Number comment from our guest.
With regards to this, may pagkakataon po tayo na amendahan kung ipapasa po ito ng Senado ang ating konstitusyon. Kasi kung titingnan niyo po, nakakalungkot naman po talaga when people would compare our country, the development in our country to our neighboring countries. Transportation, yung cost of electricity natin, cost of telco natin, certain services, that the brunt of this is burdened to the Filipino people, mga kababayan po natin yung naantala dito. Sila po yung nagsasakripisyo at naapektuhan dahil nga po dito sa hindi po natin magawa ng solusyon. Although of course, our country is progressive, we're developing, although to reach another point of our development, we really need to amend the Constitution. I'm fully supportive of this. I know most of the members of the House are supportive of this. So it is really time for counterparts in the Senate to really consider and to work on RBH 6 hopefully soon that they finish the dialogue or the hearings, and that we hope that we appeal to them na we're focusing on the economic provisions at to pass na po RBH 6. Yun lamang po. Salamat.
Well, kay copy-paste ko na lang yung sinabi nyo, Boss JJ, kasi ganun lang din ho naman ang aming panawagan. Ako, at least, no? Yung economic provisions na sinasabi po sa ating Constitution, in fact, ang magbe-benefit lang po na talaga nito, kami pong nasa laylayan, na totoo lang. So, ako, as a member, as a representative from First District of my province, it would give tremendous benefit, no? Kung if you revisit the Constitution, na tingnan natin kung ano yung mga possible adjustments ang gagawin natin doon para mapagbigyan yung pagkakataon na tayo naman ay umunlad tulad ng mga neighboring countries natin dito sa ASEAN, para hindi naman ho tayo mapag-iwanan. Na choice na lang ho natin yun kung sa darating na mga taon ay ganito pa rin ho tayo. So choice din ho natin na sa darating na mga taon ay mag-improve po tayo. So it's a matter of choice, and lahat actually tayo, ang Senado at ang Kongreso, I'm sure we all aim for progress. We all aim for development. Ang gusto ko lang sanang makita in the coming days, huwag sanang gamitin itong issue ng constitutional amendment, itong chacha, gamitin na as a springboard for political preparation in 2025. Gawin po natin, let's be public servant in the meantime and talk about economic provisions. Let's revisit. There's nothing wrong if we sit down and do all the work that we are tasked to do, particularly getting our country at par with our neighboring countries in the ASEAN.
Weekly lang po, no? You know where the House stands. Andiyan na po yung stand ng House. The numbers are there. Yung mga natapos namin na trabaho. Simply, what gets measured gets done. So, nandiyan na po yung mga numbers. Solid naman po lahat na isubmit na. Kailangan na lang po trabahuin. Wala na sa amin yung bola. Kailangan na lang yung part nila, on their part, para mag-winning shot na tayo para sa economy. Kasi minsan po, mahirap po yung mga band-aid solutions na lang na pag may sakuna, bigay ng ayuda, bababa na lang. Hindi ba mas maganda po na dahil sa maganda na po yung ekonomiya, pag may bagyo, may disaster, self-sufficient and self-sustaining na po yung mga kababayan natin at yung mga mas mahihirap ka na sektor, yun na lang po ang ating tinututukan, hindi po yung buong sektor po. So, yun lang. Thank you very much.
Tingin ko hihinto lang yung question nila, kailan hihinto to, yung mga nangyayaring issue ngayon. Hihinto lang siguro to pag hinintiw na rin ng Senado yung pang-iinsulto, lalong-lalo na sa mga leaders ng House, no? Hihinto lang to pag tinigilan nila yung pagmamaliit, no, sa mga miyembro ng mababang kapulungan. Hihinto lang to, no, pag itinigil nila yung pagbabato ng putik, lalong-lalo na sa mga leader namin. Siyempre, tatay namin si Speaker dito sa Kongreso, natural lang na magre-react kami pag tatanggol namin siya. Pag yung tatay namin binabato, no? Pag may mga leader namin kung ano-ano ang sinasabi, no, sa mga leader natin. So, hihinto lang siguro ito, no? Pag lahat tayo, lalong-lalo na sa House naman, nagtatrabaho naman kami, katulad nga na sinabi ng mga kasama ko, 54 out of the 57 LEDAC measures is naaprubahan na ng House, no? So magtrabaho na lang tayo, huwag na tayong magbatuhan ng putik, huwag na tayong tigilan na natin yung pang-iinsulto, at trabaho na lang, ha? Dahil lahat naman tayo gusto is tulungan ng Presidente na mapaunlad yung ating bansa.
Thank you, sir.
Just to cap it off, don't you find it ironic that it's the youth of the nation who's asking for statesmanship. It's the youth of the nation who's asking for interparliamentary courtesy. It's the youth of the nation who's asking to actually work and move forward. So I think that is such a welcome development for us na you're seeing young voices expressing their dismay, but at the same time, young voices expressing their hope that they want to move the country forward. So I just wanted to point that out because it's such a revelation, I guess, for everybody.
Thank you, sir. Let us acknowledge Sheila from Philippine Star.
Ay, good afternoon po. Sir, you introduce yourself as yung young guns. Kayo na ba yung papalit sa sa Spice Boys? And sir, pwedeng pakikwento, paano kayo nabuo?
Spicy.
Sino nag-initiate? And ano ba exactly yung main role nyo? Especially nga may awayan between House and President Duterte, House and Senate.
May manager yan, ha?
Ano yung kanina gagawin nyo to cool down yung situation?
Dami mong tanong na, pero sasagutin natin isa-isa. Well, nag-umpisa to before, nung orientation po ng mga neophytes. Lumalabas po halos, hindi naman kalahati, pero close to half of the house are members of the age ng kabataan po, yung atin pong 40 years old and below. So, parang may block na nga po kami, yung young guns. So, nabuo to, of course, we wanted to learn. Unang-una, marami pong gustong matuto kung paano po yung trabaho namin dito sa Kongreso. Pangalawa, it's a big network of sharing ideas and sharing best practices po. Hindi ko naman po siguro masabing Spice Boys kasi halo-halo naman po kami. Meron po kami lalaki, babae, meron din pong yung LGBTQ. So, kompleto po yun. It's like a block already. Para na po kaming isang section na malaki sa Kongreso. And yun nga, nakita nyo naman po yung sentiments namin dito, yung young guns. Talagang it's really a call for everybody to work together. Yung target po natin meron po kaming sinusunod na target yung long term, yung medium term, yung mga short term goals po ng bagong Pilipinas. Yun po yung tinatrabaho talaga namin kasi ako personally, ang kabataan medyo napapagod na po sa nakakapagod na rin po minsan yung madaming drama, yung madaming politika, away, nakakapagod po yun. Ang gusto natin, resulta. Kasi ang kabataan nga ngayon, di ba, napansin nyo, mas mabilis na po lahat ngayon Di ba? May aggressiveness in such a way, pero parang di ba po, sa impormasyon, ang bilis lahat. Hindi na telegram, hindi na landline. So, we want things to get done. And tingin ko, yun ang main essence po ng young guns. Yung trabaho agad, resulta agad. Yun po ang isang tinututukan po namin. Of course, we combine the idealism of the youth. And syempre, kaya po kami nandito, ang dami po namin natututunan sa mga mas veterano pong members ng House. And ako siguro, paano ko ba sasabihin to? Kasi ako po marami po ako natutunan sa pamilya namin, sa elders namin. Siyempre, pinapass on yan yung mga kwento. Siguro, 1901 po, nasa politika na po yung pamilya namin. And I learned I'm a child of history. Masarap po matuto. Kaya nga, masarap maging bata ngayon sa Kongreso dahil ang daming magtuturo, ang daming magbibigay ng guidance sa'yo. And if I can speak for our young members, trabaho sa karesulta po ang target namin talaga.
Sir, kailan po yung orientation and bakit sa ganitong panahon nyo naisipang PRESSCON, introduce yourself? And sir, maging active ba kayo? Halimbawa may negotiation with the Senate. Gaano kayo naging ka-active?
Yung ano po namin, NCPAG yun, nung bagong elect po kami. Nagkaroon kami ng, hindi na siya, para sa akin, hindi na siya new course kasi parang refresher na lang sa amin yung mga medyo matagal na sa local government. And when they invite us, then we'll be happy to help out with the negotiations po. Kung ano man may tutulong namin.
Hahanap pa kayo sa Senate pag may meeting. Hindi gano'n po yung kayo ka-active sa, I mean, kayo may magiging bagong mukha sa mga negotiations para mas lumamig ang ulo ng mga tao.
Siguro po gagawin namin lahat na makakaya namin para maayos po natin tong may standstill po tayo eh. So, kung ano man ang hingin po sa amin, kahit na hindi po nakaharap sa Senate, kahit na magkwentuhan lang po kami dyan sa gilid para ma-ease yung tension at maayos tong mga problema eh, in any way, shape or form po, kahit na po halimbawa, kumain kami dyan sa labas. Malaking bagay po yung mga ganun. Malaking tulong po.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Just to add, no, sabi nga po ni Kong Paolo, you know, in the young guns, it started in the beginning pa po nung 19th Congress. And you know, we're happy to be sharing ideas between one another. Nakikita naman din po natin kung ano pa po yung mga problema natin na kinakaharap natin sa bansa natin, sa kanya-kanya naming mga lugar, kung paano po namin hinahandle ang sitwasyon or yung development din po sa aming lugar, paano po, share din po, tama na sinabi ni Pao, share po kami ng mga ideas on how to become more effective leaders sa aming nasasakupang mga areas. And you know, we're very happy, I'm very happy to be part of this group. And we're here today just to inform you guys also the sentiments of the younger members of the House. And to share our thoughts and our sentiments also to you guys, kung ano po yung mga questions po ninyo. So yun po ang aming, or yun po ang rason kung bakit po kami kasama po ninyo ngayong araw po nito.
At saka karamihan din naman sa mga kabataang congressmen, no? Nasa posisyon din ng iba't ibang committee, no? Merong mga miyembro ng Young Guns, mga vice chairman ng committee, member ng appropriations, no? Nagpapasalamat din kami kay Speaker, no, Romualdez, kasi talagang kinukuha niya yung opinion ng mga kabataan dito sa Kongreso. At talagang ipinapaliwanag niya sa amin kung ano yung mga trabahong kailangan gawin at bakit kailangan gawin, no? So nakikita namin yung pagmamalasakit, no, ni Speaker, lalong-lalo na sa future ng ating bansa at ating mga kabataan. At talagang we are solid behind the leadership of the House.
Idagdag ko lang, no, I think yung sinabi kanina ni Boss Paolo na almost close to, I think half of the membership of the House belong to the age category of 40 and below. I think it speaks of the demography that we currently now, no? Ang Pilipinas, we are a young country. So it speaks also about the youth sector being active now. And makikita niyo po sa demography, medyo bata ho tayo na nation. We are a young country, not because of the years that the country existed, but the people in it, the demography, medyo bata po. So nakita mo natin that the youth now in the Philippines wants to engage actively in issues that affect their lives. Kami po yung generation na inabutan po yung OPM, Eraserheads, Little Maya, at kami po yung generation na inabutan din natin ang mga K-pop, di ba? So it's a combination of many cultures and thinking and insights. I don't have a point of reference kasi hindi ko naging membro ng previous Congress, but this is my first time, and I'm very, very glad that I came in the House of Representatives under the leadership of Speaker Martin Romualdez. He's a type of leader who likes to listen to any, lahat ng opinion, regardless whether you're a veteran or you are a young younger member of the House, he embraces all opinions because he celebrates dynamism. And our country is very, very dynamic because we have a active youth in our country. So I'm very glad. Ako personally, I'm very glad that I came in under the leadership of Speaker Martin Romualdez. And the reason why I try to connect this with, yung current na social strata natin, it's because it will also perhaps a lesson to the elders. No? Kapag tayo po ay nasa posisyon, if we have a responsibility as big as, former speaker, former president, let's be more circumspect in our words because the youth actually looks up to you. And ayaw namin yung kung ano-ano lang yung mga hindi magagandang salita ang lumalabas po sa ating mga bibig.
Thank you, sir. Could we have a word from Deputy Speaker Suarez, the Young Guns talent manager?
Actually, I wanted to escape myself from the discussion. But since I was asked, I still consider myself quite young.
Yeah.
Quite. Huwag na lang young, quite. I think what the Young Guns show is the diversity presently in the House of Representatives. It also shows the aggressiveness and the enthusiasm and the fresh ideas that they bring to the table. Na kung titingnan naman natin to, ihahambing natin sa ipinaglalaban natin na pagbabago ng ating konstitusyon, nakikita natin na parallel talaga. Because it is only through these innovations, creativity, that we can push the country forward. And in order to push the country forward, we need to be able to remove the restrictions that hinder us from propelling the Philippines to the next chapter. And I think with the fresh talent that we have in the House of Representatives representing their respective districts, and mind you, itong mga young guns na to, hindi ito yung silent majority ng House of Representatives. They're actively participating in committee hearings, actively participating in deliberations, pushing legislation, and coming up with concrete policies that create the legislative agenda for the House of Representatives. So I think it's a welcome development, and I'm sure it won't be the last time that you'll be hearing from them. You can contact me after the PRESSCON para sa susunod na ilalabas ng Young Guns. But I will make it a more regular engagement because there are other Young Guns and other younger members of the House that would like to express their opinions as well.
Deputy Suarez, Big Simintap of Net 25.
Magandang umaga po. Sir, I hope your answer to my question will solve the problem regarding the rift between the lower house and the Senate. According to Congressman Adyong, since this is February, love dapat hindi one way, two way. Sabi ni Congressman B, kailangan mag-usap. Sabi ni Congressman Ortega, parang ang relasyon ng House at saka ng Senate ay magsing-irog na nagkaroon ng LQ. So, mataas yung emosyon, may problema na kinakaharap. Sabi ni Congressman Gonghon naman, hindi pwede na yung ginagawa ng isang kamay nagpro-promote ng kapayapaan pero yung isa sumusunod. Tanong na mga kasama ko dito, since na nagsimula ang press briefing dito sa kwarto dito, from the House leadership, sinabi nila, tama na, magtrabaho na tayo. Kahapon, sabi ni Congressman Suarez, mahal na mahal namin yung mga senador. Pero ang tanong ko, sa isang nagmamahalan na nagkaroon ng LQ, sigurado may issue na pinagtatalunan. At kung hindi man, baka may third party. Ano sa palagay nyo?
Para may boy abunda yan tayo. Go ahead.
Well, may kasabihan naman po tayo na ano eh, the more you hate, the more you love, di ba? So, depende po yan kung ano po yung pipiliin mo doon, yung hate o yung love. Kami po dito sa House of Representatives, we've been very, very consistent. Sabi po natin, let's work together, let's solve our differences in our interpretation. Hindi naman personalan dapat kasi interpretation naman po ito sa amendment. So, ako, pipiliin mo namin, at alam ko, I'm confident to say, pipiliin mo namin yung love rather than yung hate. So, yes, open po kami. At tama po yung sinabi ni DSJJ. Mahal naman po namin talaga mga senador dahil sumusuporta naman po kami sa kanila nung previous elections. Sila po yung mga katong namin. At saka, the House can never really survive without the Senate because we are by nature bicameral legislature. So, yun po yung aking kasagutan doon. Mahal namin po sila and we're willing to work with them. We respect the institution and we're even go forward in trying to reach out. Again, this has been the message that the leadership of the House has been saying all along.
Ako po, nasabi ko nga kanina na dapat mag-usap. Tama po, ako ever since I started po sa paglilingkod, ay naniniwala po ako sa diplomasya, sa pag-uusap. Words can, sabi nga nila, can start wars, can cut, can hurt, it can also heal. So, yun ang aming panawagan bilang nga po sa mga kasama sa mga batang mambabatas ito po sa House. Pag-usapan na lang po natin, saka mag-focus na lang po tayo sa trabaho po natin. Para naman po ito ginagawa natin sa bansa natin, sa mga lugar natin, sa mga nasasakupan po natin mga areas. So, yun lamang po.
Sagot tayo lahat eh. No? Ano po yung third party? Parang
Baka may isang unseen kaya hindi nakikitang grupo na nanggagatong kaya lalong lumalala yung problema.
Ngayon pa lang kasi narinig yung third party. Parang hindi ko alam yung mga ganong lingwahe. So, I leave it at this to our members of the press. Hindi ka naman nagmamahal kung hindi ka nasasaktan. So, parte lahat po yan ng...
Hugot
parte po lahat yan ng mas malaking pagmamahal, which is yung pagmamahal po natin sa bayan. So, nangyayari po talaga yan. Pero, kailangan na po nating ayusin. Hopefully, malapit na po ang Valentine's. So, baka bukas, iba na po yung tema. So, kailangan po mangibabaw yung pagmamahal natin sa bansa. Yun lang po. Thank you.
Siyempre, tama naman si DSJJ, no? Mahal namin yung mga senador, no? Tinulungan nga namin sila nung nakaraang election, no? Halos lahat naman kami nilapitan ng mga senador, no? At tinulungan din namin sila ng nakaraang election. So, doon mo makikita yung pagmamahal na ibinibigay namin sa kanila.
Thank you, sir. For our last question, Elson Kismorio of Manila Bulletin.
Hello po, pasensya na po. Kong sa good day po. Just want to ask you po, any reaction po dun sa mga sunod-sunod na pamphlet na natatanggap ng government institutions? I just name a few. DANR, PIA, NHA, CHED. And it happened amid the secession talk. Does it sound peculiar to you? Anybody po?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure the National Security Council is on top of the situation. And with regards to the threats that happened yesterday, I think they were all mischievous and non-existent. So I hope this is not part of any destabilization attempts with regards to efforts and services and programs being done by the government. But we can't comment on that. Siguro antayin na lang natin na yung proper department at ahensya at kalihim ang magbigay ng komento tungkol po doon. No?
Okay, one more po. I think yung pong subcommittee ni Sen Angara plans to maglibot po for hearings po dun sa RTH 6. Maybe something similar dun sa ginawa po ni Kong Rufus last year. You think this will open for more dialogue sa mga locals? But then again, sir, this will take more time. So, what's your take on that? Is it good, bad?
In terms of time, of course, it will take very long process if iikutin po ng ating or ng committee, ng subcommittee, ng iba't ibang parte po ng ating bansa. But of course, it's very important to hear the voices of the people from different areas. Maybe it's better to invite them, different organizations or different groups of civil societies from different parts of the country, to invite them to hear kung ano pong opinion nila ukol dito. Pero palagay ko naman po, sa panahon ngayon, pare-pareho po ang sentimento ng lahat, na change needs to happen. And not only for this point in time, but for the future generations, yung pong ating pinag-uusapan na po dito, for the future of our country. So, yun lamang po.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's gonna take so much time. Really, I mean, if they plan to go around and do a road show, there are a lot of ways of saying you're in favor and you are not. So I hope this is not one way that they're saying that they're not in favor, no? Kasi maliwanag naman yung mensahe ni Presidente last week. He is for charter amendments, specifically on economic provisions. And this does not need any delay on the part of the Senate, on the part of the House. So, tama si Congressman D. They can invite. They can do 2-3 hearings every week if they want to. But you know what? What needs to be done is, we need to act on a quicker pace. So yun yung mas mahalaga para sa atin, no? And of course, on your second point, do I agree with it? From where I stand, I don't think that would be a prudent way of going through the process. Because remember, you mentioned a word, subcommittee. So meaning, pagkatapos ng subcommittee, iaakit pa yun sa mother committee. Ngayon, ang tanong, anong gagawin ng mother committee? I-adapt lang ba yung findings ng ginawa ng subcommittee o panibagong hearings na naman ang gagawin ng committee level? And after that, diretso pa yan sa plenary debate sa Senate. Now, that's why you have to ask them what's their timeline. Because by the time we reach June or July, it's budget season for Congress. And 99% of our time will be devoted on the budget. So when do we then when is our window to actually get this whole charter amendments operationalized? It's within these few months before we hit SONA. So kaya ako talaga, pagdating sa Senado, palalampasin ko itong Valentine's, mahal ko pa rin kayo, kasi ang mensahe ko lang, bilis-bilisan nyo lang yung trabaho ninyo.
Thank you, boss.
Okay, with that, we're ending our press conference.
Yung ilan lang pala sa kanila mahal ko, hindi pala sila.
Yung institution, boss. Yung institution.
Yung institution.
Thank you, Young Guns members.
Closing
as well
remarks,
as-
guys. Closing remarks.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity to speak with you all and to hear our sentiments also from the young guns. And really, thank you. It was a pleasure to meet all of you. And happy Valentine's na po sa inyong lahat. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, let's have a photo.
Road manager.
Very good, guys. Very good. Galing. Kailangan sa mga dito, Jay. Congratulations.
Dito na po sa gitna.
Boss, dito kasi.
Hey,